We're gonna say that this video is better late than never. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be a tag video. I will link the original tag creator if I can find them, because I've not done that research before starting this video. I'm very ill prepared. Basically, this is the end of the year book tag. It is a tag that is all about your reading towards the end of the year. Now, I'm a little bit late on doing this because there is one question that I'm going to change slightly, just because it seems like this tag really should have been done like September, October at the latest. And here I am right in the middle of November and just like, I need a video, let's do it. But the questions do still work mostly. So without further ado, let's get to answering them, shall we? So question number one is, are there any books that you've started this year and need to finish? Not really. I'm pretty good at powering through and finishing books, to be honest. Like, I'm not a person who tends to put something down and say like I'll come back to it later. The only book that I have done this for this year is Furyborn by Claire Legrand, but that was more of a soft DNF. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going back to it, to be honest. I wasn't particularly invested in the plot. If I could finish it this year, that'd be great, because I got the audiobook, so it's not like it's that hard to do for me. And also it was one of the books that was picked for my TBR game, so it would be nice if I could finish it, but also like it's not the end of the world if I don't. Like, if I don't go back to it, it may just actually end up being a DNF. We will see. I just didn't feel particularly like invested with any of the characters. To be honest, I read like over 100 pages and I can't actually tell you now what I read in those 100 pages, so I would need to reread it anyway rather than just picking it back up and carrying on. Question number two, this is the one I'm changing a little bit. So the original question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into your end of year reading? Now, we are very much into autumn, heading towards winter, so I'm not going to pick an autumnal book to transition my reading over. I will say the book that I probably did read for this was my reread of Babel, which was beginning of September. It just felt that with this being like very academic, it being sort of the start of a new school year, it felt very much like that change from summer into the autumn. So this is probably the one that I did read, but what I'm actually going to answer is, do you have a book to transition you into the winter months instead? And I do with that. So I have a rule basically that Christmas I don't start celebrating until the middle of November, because my birthday is in the middle of November. So basically the day after my birthday, Christmas is allowed to start, which means that I have some Christmas books that I want to start reading, and I'm holding off reading them until the 15th of November, which is very soon when this video goes out. So excited that I can read them. The one that I'm most excited for is Kisser Wants For Me, which is by Alison Cochrane, who wrote The Charm Offensive that I read earlier on this year. It's a fake dating story set at Christmas, but then the main character ends up being attracted to her fake boyfriend's sister instead. I'm very excited for it. Like I said, I really enjoyed The Charm Offensive, so this has been one of my most anticipated releases for the year, so I thought, why not use it as a nice transitional book for my sort of Christmas wintry reads. Question number three, is there a new release you're still waiting for? So that one that I just mentioned is a new release. It's not actually out in the UK yet, I don't think, because when I go on Amazon it says I can get the Kindle book, but I can't get the physical copy until December. So that one is a release that I'm waiting for. Also, Sophie Gonzalez's new book, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. I think that's the words. It's a Taylor Swift lyric, but I can't remember if it's We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together or if it's just Never Ever Getting Back Together. It's one of those things. But that one I do have an arc for, and I am hoping to read it also within the next couple of weeks. So yeah, those are probably the two new releases that I'm most excited for. I don't think there's much else. Like, I can't think of anything I've got pre-ordered until like stuff comes out in the new year. So I think that's it. But I'll probably remember something as soon as I finish filming. Okay, question number four, what 3 books do you want to read before the end of the year? I did do some preparation for this. I said I wasn't very prepared for the video, and like some of the questions I've just been answering I made up off the top of my head, but these ones I did know this question was coming, so I've got 3 books out and I will talk you through them now. So basically these are 3 books that I was anticipating the releases of anyway. 2 or 3 of these I pre-ordered and I've had for a while and just haven't got around to reading them yet. One of them I had to wait a while until I could get a US copy, but these are all ones that I was very much anticipating around the August-September time and just haven't got them on my TBR yet. But 2 of them I'm hoping to read in November and 1 of them I'm hoping to read in December, so there are plans for them. The first one being The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. This is the 3rd book by Aidan Thomas. I really loved Cemetery Boys. Wasn't as keen on Lost in the Neverwoods, but I have very high hopes for this one. And I only just received it because I had to, like I said, hunt down a US copy, so it matched my other ones that I had, because they're now being published in the UK, which is great, but not great for the matching editions that I want on my shelf. So have now managed to get hold of this one and will be reading it this month. It is on my TBR. So this is book number 1. Book number 2 was one of my most anticipated releases of the year because it's by an author that I really like again, and that is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is set in sort of the same world as Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, as well as Malibu Rising. They're all slightly connected, but you don't have to have read them all to understand them. But I really loved all 3 of those books that I've read so far, and this one is about tennis, and I'm a massive tennis fan. So I was actually talking to my sister about this the other day, and she was like, you'll appreciate the tennis aspects of it more than I did. I'm like, yes, that's one of the reasons I'm excited for it. So hoping to read this month. Again, it's not officially on my TBR, but it is one I'm hopeful to get to. Basically, the reason I didn't read this when I first got it is because the pre-order of it got delayed with all the Waterstones issues, and then I had other plans by the time I actually did eventually get it. So now I just want to make sure it fits into my plans before the end of the year. And then the last one I will be reading in December, because I have a buddy read of it planned with people who I can't remember who's actually doing it at the minute. I know Jem is kind of organising it, but I can't remember who else is involved. But it is one of Jem's favourite books, and that is one of the reasons why I'm excited to read it. And it is Wolfsong by TJ Klune. So I've been wanting to read this one for a while. I enjoy TJ Klune's writing. I've read 3 books by him so far. I've read House in the Cerulean Sea, Under the Whispering Door, and The Extraordinaries. I'm reading Flashfire this month as well, and this one is one that has intrigued me for a while. I just haven't got around to it, and then it's got picked up by a UK publisher. We've got a nice fancy release of it. We've got, look at those sprayed edges. So now I have my pretty copy. I should really read it, and again, it's just been one where I got it and then just didn't manage to fit into reading plans as I got it, so I want to make sure I do read it before the end of the year. Question number 5 is there a book that you think could shock you and become your favourite of the year? Now, I would like to say yes, because like I don't want to ever go into books thinking that they're not going to be new favourites. Like, I would always like to be optimistic, but at the same time I've got a very, very strong contender for my favourite book of the year, so it's going to take a lot to knock that off the top spot, considering it is possibly my favourite book of all time. So like, hopeful that I'll find some new favourites, but not that optimistic that it's going to be a new favourite like overall of the year. We all know, by the way, that the book I was talking about before was Babel. Like, that is my favourite book I've read so far this year. It's going to take a lot to beat it. And then the last question number 6, is have you started making reading plans for next year? Kind of. Like, I'm always kind of planning things. I mean, I say always. I've had this channel for like 18 months now, and since having it, like, obviously there is constantly things kind of in my head like, okay, well, that's going to make good content for that, so I'm going to read this like this. So I do have plans for things that I want to do starting in the new year with my channel that will therefore affect my reading. I'm not too big on like setting myself exact goals. Like, I'm not going to be a person who makes a list of like, these are the 23 books of 2023 that I want to read in the next year. Like, that's just going to stress me out. But I have like vague notions of like things that I've enjoyed recently that I maybe want to read more of, or things that could be interesting video ideas that would require me to read a couple of different books for them. So yes, I'm not going to tell you what any of them are though, obviously. So that is all of the questions. I should be tagging people. I think most of my friends have already done it at this point, but I do know that Andy was wanting to film this, and hers may have gone up before mine has, but if it hasn't, Andy, please consider yourself tagged. And anyone else that wants to do it, really, do what you like. If I wasn't tagged in this, I was going to do it anyway. But that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.